So I look out here and I'm super excited because I see lots of different age groups here. It's super happy because right now on social media and in the news, there's a lot of people that are like fussing amongst themselves. Generations are blaming each other for different things. The older generation blaming the young ones blaming the old ones. So if you don't know which generation group you're in or who you're supposed to be mad at, I'm here to help y'all. So right now, our oldest living generation is called the silent or greatest generation. These are awesome folks. They were born between the 1920s and 1940s. These are the folks, they're great. Do we have any here? Oh. I'm sure they're probably asleep, but it's okay. But they're great. They're great people, and who are you pointing at? Thank you. Give it up for, what is your name, dear? Chris. Give it up for Chris. Thank you for being here. And Chris's friend is? Maddie? Abby. Maddie and Chris. Thank y'all for being out tonight. I like to make sure everybody's represented. It's really good. So my in-laws are greatest generation people. They're lovely people. My in-laws, y'all, have been married for 68 years. It's crazy. And apparently if you've been married that long, you no longer have the ability to hear the sound of the other person's voice. It's true. I go to their house and they have two completely separate conversations with me. I go back and I'm trying to get both of them. Because I love my in-laws, they're sweet people, and I go back and forth, and then finally you gotta pick one, right? You gotta pick one, and it's always like picking the wrong line at the grocery store. You thought that one was faster, but no, you're here for a while. You're here for a while. Now, below the greatest silent generation folks come the baby boomers. I bet we have baby boomers here. Yes, lots of baby boomers. All right, so what's cool about baby boomers is they are a very large group. They're a big group. So the top end of the baby boomers are my mom and her friends who perfected smoking. They smoked everywhere. They smoked at home, at church, in the hospital, in the swimming pool. And they smoked in the car with the kids in the back with the windows rolled up very tightly. That's the upper end of the baby boomers. The lower end of the baby boomers, the last 10 years of the baby boomers are called Generation Jones. Now, these are people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. These people smoked less, and so they had time to invent computers and the internet. So we're happy that they came along. Now, one thing that this whole group has in common is they all hate millennials. They all hate millennials. And to be fair, I think everyone hates millennials. It's true. I think it's because they invented avocado toast. And the word artisanal, and gender reveal parties. Some gifts from them. But if you're here tonight and you're a millennial, please know it is not your fault. It is not your fault that everybody thinks you suck. It's not. It's really not. Your Star Wars had Jar Jar Binks in it, and there's no coming back from that. Jar Jar Binks ruined y'all, I'm sorry. Now, one thing that's great about millennials is they have awesome restaurants. They really do. They have great usually these restaurants are named like a one-word thing that's also a verb. Like, gather, forage, nosh. So I went to one of these places in Charlotte. We go in there and our server came over. He said, "Hi, I'm Colin. I'll be taking care of you tonight. Welcome to Nibble." And then he handed us 3 different menus. The first one, he said, "This is our Nibbles menu. This is our libations menu. And this is our artisanal ice menu." Artisanal ice, Colin? What is that? "Well, here at Nibble, you can have any kind of ice you want in your libation." I said, "All right, Colin, can we just call it drinks? Can we call them drinks?" He goes, "Well, no, here at Nibble, we call them libations. They're the same thing as drinks, but they cost $18. okay, well, what are my artisanal ice choices? He goes, well, you can have shaved, nugget, chunked, or block. I said, Colin, that sounds like the 4 stages of marriage to me. So how does it work? You go back there with a screwdriver and like chop it out of there? At this point, Colin lost his patience with me. He goes, it's a machine. It's a machine. We just push a button and whatever size ice comes out, that's the machine. It makes the size ice. And I said, Colin, now you've lost me. Now you've lost me. I was with you for a little bit, but for $18, I want there to be a little Inuit man back there. Little Inuit man named Muktuk. I want him back there in your freezer wearing like a seal fur suit with a very sharp knife that he's scraping off a glacier. You show me Muktuk, Colin, I'll give you $18 for a drink. So Muktuk, by the way, means whale blubber in Inuit, as opposed to Beckett, which was Colin's friend, which means lacrosse player. So below millennials, what's next? Come Gen Z. Gen Z comes under but millennials, so these are my kids, y'all. Yeah, good luck, America. Whew. Gen Z don't know how to write a check. They can't read cursive. They don't know how to address an envelope. They can't read a paper map. They can't get anywhere unless there's a map on their phone. And before you say, oh, you should have taught your kids these things, or, oh, we don't need to know these things anymore, I'll just tell you this. If Gen Z takes over the world, it's going to be very easy to get it back. When the power lines go down, we're just going to write our battle plans in cursive on a piece of paper. Or mail it to ourselves in envelopes with a stamp already on it. Or drop it to each other's houses in our manual transmission cars. So who did I forget? Who did I forget? Xers, yay, Xers. Okay, so X are awesome. I didn't forget X because I was born the first year of Gen X or the last year of Gen Jones, depending on whose chart you look at. But everyone forgets Gen X, y'all. Even CBS News forgot Gen X last year. They did this whole thing on all the generations. They did silent generation, and then they did boomers, and they skipped over 65 million of us Jan Bradys. And they went down to the millennials and the post-millennials. Here's all y'all need to know about us Gen Xers. We don't care. We do not care. In fact, we kind of like it. We're like the secret dive bar that only the locals know about. We don't advertise, but we're never going out of business. We are not. Now, I did a couple of these things on a clip that went viral last summer because I was making fun of Gen Zers and everyone got upset. Well, the Gen Zers got upset. They got their feelings really hurt. And I got some really mean comments like, I bet you can't even format a PDF. I bet you can't even turn your phone to dark mode. But here's the thing, Gen Zers, and my kids are Gen Zers, and I've talked to them about this. What they don't understand is that we're the last generation that was raised with both analog skills and digital skills. We have all of them, but we don't brag about it because we're ninjas. I was in the Atlanta airport, this is just a few weeks ago, and I'm changing Concords in Atlanta, and I saw a U.S. passport sitting right in the top of the escalator going down, just right in the middle. It was a U.S. passport. I thought, ooh, I knew before I picked it up and opened it that it belonged to a man-child. Because I have man-children. And I opened it up, and sure enough, Cody Mitchell, age 18, Dallas, Texas. And all I could hear was Cody's mother saying, "Cody, there's only one thing you can't lose on your trip. You can lose your cash. You can lose your credit cards. You can even lose your phone, but don't lose your passport, Cody." Well, Cody lost his passport. Thankfully, it was me that found it and picked it up because I have man children and I knew what was going on. So I turned it into the closest Delta gate that was near this escalator, and I started walking to my flight. And as I'm walking, I realized that Cody Mitchell is wandering blissfully around the Atlanta airport, completely unaware that he has lost his passport. He has no idea. He didn't even have it, right? He's eating an Annie Ann's pretzel, listening to music on his AirPods. So I just armed with my phone his name and his age and his town. In 5 minutes, I found the following information about Cody Mitchell. I found out where he went to college. He's a freshman. Shocker. I found out all his roommates' names. I knew which fraternity he was in. I had his LinkedIn resume with all of his jobs, his entire job history. I found out he works at his college radio station on Tuesdays. He's in a band with 3 other man children. He plays the keyboard, so do not come at me, Gen Z. I can find you. I can find you to help you if I want to. I can also change my phone to dark mode. Cody has it. He has it now. So what's great about, I think, Gen Xers and the boomers particularly is that we do have a lot of things in common. We all have more in common than we think we do. So like Gen Xers and boomers, we're strong people. Y'all, we're strong people. We didn't even need sunscreen. We just laid out on giant sheets of aluminum foil with baby oil and iodine, right? We sprayed sun in our hair. We turned it orange. We don't care. We put our chair up on the roof to get higher to the sun. And we only turned over when the radio station told us to. We grew up in the way, way back seat of our mom's station wagons, rear facing at the people behind us, just waving back there. So my mom drove a country squire mint green station wagon with a wood paneling on the side. It was huge. It drove around Athens, Georgia, Homewood Hills neighborhood like an aircraft carrier, just launching children left and right. We had 12 kids in our carpool. There were 5 families. The Kemps, the Tillmans, the Barbers, the Fowlers, and us. 12 kids. Nobody wore a seatbelt. Not even in the front seat. If your mom's arm wasn't strong enough, you deserved to go through the windshield. And now one of those little boys is now governor of the state of Georgia. And one of those little girls is here with y'all tonight. So it worked out. It worked out. We didn't have helicopter parents back then. In fact, we had the opposite of helicopter parents. We had Home Depot parents, where you think there should be somebody working in the store to help you. But there's no one around. This is Home Depot. You're on your own. Do you need a skill saw? Well, there's only one left, and it's way up there. Go up there and get it yourself, my friend, but don't pull it over on yourself and cut your arm off because no one will take you to the hospital. It's going to be your fault that you got hurt. Here's what you get. Suck it up. Blow on it. Walk it off. Rub some dirt on it. Bleed over the sink. My mom would say, don't get your blood on my shag carpet. But my dad's was still the best. Let the dog lick it, it'll heal faster. The magical healing qualities of dog spit. Nobody cared what our grades were. Nobody cared that we were bored. Nobody cared that we were eating lunch out of a lunchbox filled with unrefrigerated dairy products and rust. Who had a rusty lunchbox? Never going out of business. We're never going out of business. Nobody cared that we're being pummeled in the face by real red rubber dodgeballs. The rubber, not the little foamy baby ones they have now. The real, you could smell the rubber coming at you. Coach Mike's PE class, and it would smash you in the face and go twang. And it left a crosshatch print right on your forehead. Right here. Nobody cared about the emotional trauma of sea monkeys. How about sea monkeys? You have sea monkeys? Yeah. I'm still not over it. I was supposed to get the whole sea monkey family. The mama sea monkey and the daddy sea monkey and the baby sea monkey and junior sea monkey that had little crowns on their head. And they had tails. They lived in a castle. And they were supposed to come live with me and I could teach them tricks. That's not what we got. We got 3 envelopes filled with disappointment, deceit, and dehydrated brine shrimp. No one cared. Nobody cared that that woman on Romper Room never said my name. She said some people's names twice. I found out later that your mom had to write in order for them to know about your name. We didn't know where she was. Nobody cared that we were getting hurt on metal roller skates. Who had them? Oh my God. So your foot went in there, right? And it clamped. It clamped onto your shoe. And you did get hurt because you went too fast, because you couldn't go fast because of the friction of metal on concrete. So this is how we skated. And about the third, your shoe came up out of that. But it was still attached to your ankle with a little leather belt. So this just whacked you in the shin, knocked you in a ditch. Nobody cared. Nobody cared that the metal braces on our teeth made us look like Jaws from Moonraker. Now they have little plastic things that they glue them on there. We had the thing that went all the way around your tooth, right? So attractive. If you were lucky like me, you got a headgear. Woo! I got my braces just in time. I got 5th grade, I think. And that was a year that they divided the class into girls and boys. And the girls got to go with Mrs. Brewer and learn about our changing bodies. And the boys got to go with Coach Guthrie on the playground and play kickball. And all he told them was, y'all need deodorant. That's all that he said. I got my braces in time for 1976 for the America's Bicentennial. That was a humiliating school photo. We had to stand in front of an American flag. Right, some people had to sit at a desk with a quill pen as if they were just in the middle of writing the Declaration of Independence. And the school photographer came in. Humiliation. 1976 was a great year. That was the year that the world's highest selling poster came out. Anybody know what it was? Farrah Fawcett. Yeah, I bet somebody had them. I bet y'all had them. So it's still to this day, if y'all don't know this, the highest selling poster of all time. Of all time. It hangs in the Smithsonian. It's true. And we all know why. It's the highest selling poster of all time. It's Farrah's hair, her beautiful hair, her beautiful white teeth, and her beautiful red bathing suit that contained her beautiful nipple. And I think that's why it's the highest selling poster of all. People rubbed that poster so many times. It just rubbed a hole right in the paper. And they had to get a new one. In the Smithsonian, they keep it behind glass for a reason. Nobody cared that we were scared to death of Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka. He was the best Willy Wonka. He really was. He was the best Willy Wonka of all time. I don't know why they had the other two, but he was the scariest. As he sang that insane song, why the Oompa Loompas rode the boat faster and faster down the chocolate river, and then it went into that tunnel where the lady got her head chopped off, or the snake, no, it was like a chicken got its head chopped off and a snake crawled over a lady. We're like, oh my God. And then at the end of that movie, he screams at poor little Charlie Bucket in Latin, right? It made that child cry. And he was trying to get out of a contract through a legal loophole, a contract which wasn't binding to begin with because you can't enter a contract with a minor, but I didn't know that then. Because I hadn't gone to law school yet because I was 8. I just knew he was scary. I knew going to the movies back then was different. We went by ourselves. Our parents dropped us off or we rode our bikes up there. If the movie was like G or PG, my mom gave us money and said, have a great day. Here's some PG movies they have now. Moana, Frozen, Monsters, Inc. Here's a PG movie that I watched as a child. Jaws. Jaws was PG. Oh, I didn't go by myself. I went with my friend Margie Hodges. I was 11, she was 9. So we went in there, our moms dropped us off, and we went in there and got our Cokes and our tickets and our popcorn, and we found our seats, and Margie says to me, what's this movie about? I said, I don't know. It's something about going to the beach. I was fine at the beginning. I really was fine. I was fine at the beginning when John Williams' Notes first played. I was fine when pieces of Chrissy Watkins washed up on the beach. I was even fine when Alex Kittner got eaten in a spew of blood and rubber wrapped. I was okay. But I began to not be fine when Richard Dreyfuss was scuba diving at night underneath that boat. Right, he was looking for shark's teeth, and the disembodied head of Ben Gardner rolled out on top of him. I thought to myself, I may not should be here. This movie may not be okay for me. And then, at the end of the movie, when the shark explodes, oh, sorry, spoiler alert. 1975 movie, haven't seen it. At the end of the movie, Jaws, the shark explodes. We jumped up about our seats. Popcorn went everywhere, Coke went everywhere. We were not cheering because Roy Scheider and Richard Dreyfuss survived. We were cheering because we survived. We survived. And no one came to our athletic practices. Nobody brought sliced oranges. Certainly nobody was arranging a play date for us back then. Here's how my mom arranged a play date. At 8 o'clock in the morning, my mom would say, y'all go outside and play. And boom, she locked the door. We were outside all day. We didn't have anything to eat. We didn't have anything to drink. We didn't have a juice box or any Goldfish crackers. If we were thirsty, where we drink out of? Never going out of business. And what were we doing outside? Well, we were trying to kill each other. We had rock fights. We had dirt clod fights. We had green pine cone fights. And we had BB gun fights. We were shooting each other with BB guns. Our parents knew it and no one cared. They bought the BBs. And on special occasions, we ramped up to like Roman candle wars and bottle rocket wars. And all my daddy ever said to us was, don't shoot each other directly in the eye. That was it. Someday you may have to have an MRI. Now, sometimes my mom would give us money. She'd say, hey, I'll give y'all some money to go down to the candy store and get you some candy if you'll bring me back some cigarettes. Exactly. I was 8 years old. I could go into that store and I would say, I'd like to buy 3 cartons of Menthol 100 Ultra Lights, please. And they would sell them to me. And I would carry them on my banana seat sparkly bike down the street. At some point, they made you bring a note from your parent. Yeah, they did. So my mom would write a note that said, "Dear store." sell my child cigarettes. Love Mom. So we would go down to the candy store, we'd leave our house, no adult supervision. We would be gone all day, no phone calls, no cell phones, no helmets, no nothing. We're going down there. No one knew where we were. And we would go down there and we would buy my mom's real cigarettes and we'd buy our candy cigarettes. Which they don't sell at regular stores now because it might lead to smoking. I love them. There were two kinds that I really liked. It was the hard white stick. It was just a stick of sugar with red on the end of it because someone painted fire on there for us to eat. And then there was the bubblegum kind that you could pull out. Remember, you could blow real smoke. We just stand out in front of the golden pantry and just wearing our candy jewelry that we got. Got my ring pop on because I'm engaged. You're gonna have to wear a muted dress to my wedding. Candy necklaces were my favorite. They came in a rubber band about that big. You kind of got it over your head. And then you have to eat it like this. So you just have this rainbow spit, just a spit rainbow. And my friend Laura would come bite a piece out of it, and I'd have her spit all over me. So we would stand out in front there just smoking our candy cigarettes, just wearing our candy jewelry. We were little 8-year-old candy hookers. And no one knew where we even were. We're never going out of business, y'all.